Welcome to the family where we learn to make money in untraditional ways, and UGC is not a place we are going to skip because everybody is talking about it right now.
This is how I make 7 to 10K a month, all from home. I make anywhere from about $12,000 to $15,000 a month doing UGC.
I was just paid $1,000.
I had to get on the UGC train and see what exactly it's all about. So if you don't know what UGC is, I will link my accountant series down below where we talk about making money in many different ways, like making money from your feet was the last series we did. So feel free to check out those videos. And we also did a video on what exactly UGC is, like the generic information on it. So if you want to watch that, feel free. But today, we're going to focus on getting down and dirty about how exactly you get UGC jobs. Because everyone talks about how great it is and how much money they're making and all these products being sent to them, but then they don't really tell you how to do it other than like contact brands. But easier said than done, especially in the beginning. So I would say the easiest way to start out is using a UGC app. So I figured I would test out a bunch of them. So far I've tested out a bunch and I've found a few that I want to rate. So we're going to rate them from green to red. Green being, pretty good or easy, depending on what we're talking about. I would say orange is meh, and red is, I would say hard / not that good. And with that scale, we're gonna rate them based on 5 things. Number 1, how hard is it to sign up for it / what is the process like to sign up for the app and maybe potentially get approved for the app because, you might not be able to do every app. And also, what is the job inventory like? Because if there's only like 2 jobs and there's 20 gazillion people on the app, you're not likely going to get the job. So also, what are the products being offered? Because yeah, there might be a bunch of jobs, but what are the items that you're going to potentially be promoting or putting your face on? How good are they? What exactly are they? Just China items that you don't want to talk about? And also, how hard is it to apply for these jobs? Because just because the jobs are listed on the app doesn't mean you're just going to automatically be entered in to get these items. You have to apply for them, and some are harder than others. And then the last one I'm going to say is how hard is it actually doing the job for these apps. Now I am gonna go in order from my least favorite to my favorite app. That literally, those are the items that I got sent recently are for the app that is my favorite so far and has been the best one, but I'm gonna save that one for last because we always save the best for last, okay? But the first one we're gonna talk about is Billow Creator. And even though it is my least favorite, because we're going from least favorite to favorite, it still gives a green when it comes to signing up, because I would say it's pretty simple and similar to signing up for almost any other app. Now, as for job inventory, I would also give it a green. It has a lot of items. There is a lot of inventory. You can keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and find another job. But as for the actual products, I would have to give it a red, a complete and utter red. And I feel like this is kind of an important area when it comes to the rating to get a red on. And that's because most of the items are very low value and they're also really random and weird for the most part. You can keep scrolling and scrolling. There's a lot of jobs and a few of them in between are not that bad, but most of them are really weird and random, like knobs to a grill and like hooks and poles and just really random small things. And in addition to that, I would say most of them are kind of just like low paying, and if it's low paying and I also don't really want the item, it's not really that worth it to me. And also applying for the jobs gets another red rating.
Not bad. Editing Tori stepping in here to erase a little bit of what I was about to say because I got a little confused. I would actually give applying for the jobs a orange rating because I originally thought you had a video pitch every single one you wanted to apply for. But no, you just have to have a video pitch up existing to apply for the jobs. So you only have to create one video pitch, which is extra work and a little bit annoying to do, but at least it's not for every single job, which is what I was about to tell you guys. So I'm sorry. Applying for the jobs gets an orange rating.
Also gets a red for doing the jobs. Because online, according to what I've seen, it seems like you have 5 days to finish the content, which is not that much time if you're doing a larger job and you want to produce better content. You have 5 days to do it. And if you have other jobs going on, that's not that big of a window to do it. So I also don't think that's really that great. And in addition to that, it seems like you're working more directly with the brands, which is good and bad because you won't exactly know what to expect and there won't be as much consistency in the jobs if you're working directly with a brand and there's not really a buffer in between. So I feel like you could get this one job and working with the company could be great, and other jobs, it seems like sometimes the companies don't even respond to stuff because then they're frequently asked questions section, it mentions like, what do I do if the company doesn't contact me and all that. So if the fact there's even a risk of stuff like that, it doesn't really seem worth it to me. And I think we can get a much better app than that. Now, the second app I would say is a bit better, and that is Join Brands. Now, as for signing up though, I would give it a red. You have to complete certificates, which is basically you submit proof of work you've already done, or maybe you create for yourself for a portfolio to get certificates. And they break it down in different ways. So whether it's a certificate to show just the item, a certificate to show a selfie with the item. And it's not just submitting proof of past work or examples of work you can do. It also has to be approved. So it has to be good enough for whoever is going in there and be like, this is good, this isn't good. So I submitted a bunch of things to get these certificates, and 2 of them actually failed. And it's not like they were that great or anything. I was kind of just trying to submit them quickly, but it is proof that they will fail some of them if it's not good enough for what they're looking for. But also I did submit some stuff that got approved. So it's not saying it has to be extremely difficult either, but it is kind of an annoying process to have to get these certificates to be able to apply for the jobs. Because I don't know, this is the only one where you had to do full out like submissions to get approved for being able to do jobs. Now, as for the job inventory though, I would give it a green. There is a decent amount of jobs, and especially if you have the certificates done, so every certificate you get basically offers another opportunity. Like some of these opportunities need a specific certificate. So if you finish all the certificates, there's a pretty good amount of jobs. But as for the actual products, I would give it an orange rating. I would say most of the items are lower value items that you probably don't need, and you might not also want to have your face associated with them. But as for applying for the jobs, I would give it a green rating because it's pretty easy. Once those certificates are out of the way, you literally just hit apply to do a job. At least for the ones I tested out so far, I applied to a bunch of different ones. You literally just hit apply and you're done. But as for doing the actual jobs, I would give it a completely red rating. This one is the most red rating I will give probably on all of the apps that I tried so far. First off, I would say you don't really know what to expect from the jobs because most of them end up saying message us for more information, and you don't really know what they expect from you as for like what deliverables they want, what videos they want, what photos, what resolution, do you have to be in it? All that information a lot of times isn't really exactly clear or straightforward. And also so far from all the ones I've seen so far that are available to do, you have to front your own money for them. And that is a huge red flag to me, which is also why I got a red rating for this, because you pay for the item yourself, and then once you finish the content, you are reimbursed for the item and paid for whatever the amount was for the job. And I would just say that is a no in my book, because obviously, like, they do say if the brand doesn't pay you for it, then they will, and you kind of have to trust the company you're going to get your money in the end. But I just don't like the fact that you have to front your money and wait to get paid for these items. Not even just to get paid to do the content, which I understand. Don't pay me for my content until I deliver the content. But don't make me pay for the item that I'm supposed to be creating the content for before it starts. That's just a no for me. And also, I did get accepted for a job for this app, and I got accepted for it, but then I went to go do the job, then it says it was unavailable, then I tried again, it said it was unavailable, then it said it was available, so I accepted it, and when I accepted it, all of a sudden it used to be a paid job, and then it said there was no pay for it anymore. So I messaged the company, I was like, hey, this used to be like a paid job, is it no longer a paid job? It was only $15, keep in mind. So it wasn't a high paying job at all, but I just wanted the product. So I was like, sure, I'll do it for $15. I'll get the free product. And they're like, oh, no, it's not a paid job anymore. It's just the free product. And we don't want any content from you. And I was like, huh? So I don't know. It just seems like there's a little bit of weirdness going on in the app, because why would they want to just send me the free product, have no content, and it used to be paid, but now it's not paid? It just seemed very weird to me. So overall, I would say this app is more promising than Billow, but I would still say we can do way better than this one, for sure. Now the app Incense is one that I would say is a better option, but you have to keep in mind when it comes to signing up, I'm actually going to give it an orange rating because you have to be accepted, or your social media specifically has to be accepted. You're going to link your socials like your Instagram or your Twitter, Instagram or your TikTok, and then it's going to go up for approval. So they're going to look at an example of your content, which you also have to upload examples of your content, then link the social media that you posted that content on. And if it's good enough, they'll say yes. If it's not, they'll say no. And I will let you know now, my Instagram was denied. My TikTok was accepted. So since it was accepted, I was able to apply for jobs. So that means if you're not really doing your socials and not posting UGC content already, you might not be accepted into being able to apply for these jobs. So that's a big thing to consider, because you might not be able to consider this app at all if you don't get approved for it. So it might be worth just, trying it out and seeing if they'll accept you and seeing how it goes. Maybe your Instagram will get accepted even though mine didn't, okay? But my TikTok did, so if you want to check out my TikTok, it is Tori Zianka. You check it out, see exactly what my content's like. That page did get accepted, and I don't really have that many followers, so I don't think it's purely based on that. But as for job inventory, I would actually give it a green rating. There seems like there's a pretty good amount of jobs. It's not like you can scroll and scroll endlessly, but there's still a good amount. Now, as for the actual products you could be applying to do UGC collaborations with, I would give it an orange rating, because yes, there are, again, a lot of items, or a pretty good amount in comparison to some of these other apps. I would still say the items aren't completely high value. There are some kind of random weird ones in there, or items you might not want, or the average person wouldn't want, but I would say there were more high value items than the other apps so far in consideration to quantity of them. But overall, again, it's kind of just random weird items. And the next app we're going to talk about, I find, had better items overall than this one did. Now, as for applying for the jobs, I would also give it an orange rating. I would not say it's hard to apply for the jobs, but I wouldn't give it a green rating, because you do have to answer questions when it comes to applying for the job. So it's not just hit apply and you're done. You do have to fill out a little bit of information, which is an additional step and additional time to apply for these jobs. So if you're trying to apply to as many jobs as possible, it will slow down the process of doing that, because in most cases you are going to have to fill out a section that says, why am I right for this job? And it is important to fill those out, I'm guessing, because that's what the brand's going to see, and whether they're going to like that answer or not is probably going to affect your chance of getting the job. So I would say it's important to fill out, and it's important to fill out well so you'll get accepted for these jobs. So again, additional time. And some of these jobs have additional questions they're going to ask you, like, do you have an idea of what content you want to create, or this or that? So it kind of depends on the job, depends on how many questions you're going to have to fill out and how hard it is to apply for them. But it does give you kind of an idea of what the company's looking for too, if they have additional questions. And also, you do get to set your price for the job. So basically, you're going to offer, hey, I will do this job for this amount of money within a range. So they give you a range, say $5 to $50 for this job, or $100 to $500 for this job. And you're going to select an amount in between that range that you are willing to do the work for. And you don't always want to say the top end, like, I want $500, because that's what the range goes up to. Well, they're willing to pay $500, so I'll say I want it for $500. But also, they want it for $500 for a specific type of creator that's going to offer a specific type of content. So it's like you kind of have to judge your own value in between that range. And that's also, again, additional work, additional time, additional thought. But it is kind of nice because there is a potential you could get paid more for the job than you would on these other apps that it's set automatically. Because maybe, yeah, you have more to offer. So you could get a higher portion of that range than someone else could. So there is potential for growth in these jobs than I think some of the other apps that are more set in stone. But you are going to, again, work more directly with the companies, which has its good and bad factors, because it might not be as consistent jobs as the next one we are going to talk about. As for actually doing the job, I would also give it an orange rating, because again, you're going to be working more directly with companies, so that means it's not as consistent of work. But at least with this one, you're going to have a brief. So you're going to have a brief on what they expect, like what deliverables they're looking for, what content they want from you. And if you accept the job, you are only required to do the content in that brief, even if the company says this or that, or wants additional stuff, or wants it in a different way. As long as you're doing exactly what the deliverable says, you are going to get paid, even if the company ends up being a little bit wishy-washy. So I do appreciate that. Like, there are set in stone terms of what is expected of you, even if the company switches up their mind. But hopefully that's not a case and you won't have to deal with that. But either way, you're protected in the end, because you only have to do what is laid out for you, and it's actually laid out for you. Like, unlike some of the other apps we talked about before, where it's a little bit in question what's expected of you. This one, you know what's expected of you. Yes, the company might ask for something different, but you can also be like, hey, I want more money for that, or just pay me for the existing stuff that we agreed to. And another reason why I gave it an orange rating, because I feel like this is one of the things a lot of people will not notice unless they look at the fine print of things. And it's not that huge of a deal, but I still think it's kind of important to consider. It's a considering factor when it comes to doing these jobs. Is when I was going through the frequently asked questions section, it did talk about the idea of, is there a commission they charge? Like, does the app take a portion of the pay that you're going to be getting? And they say no, they do not charge a commission. But, and here is the but, if you want to get paid out for these jobs and it's less than $50, they will charge you a $3 fee to pay out, to give you the money for the job. So if you're accepting a job that's $47 and then you're gonna be charged $3 on that, that kind of sucks. But if the job is over $50, then it is free. You're just gonna get the paid out for the job, you're done and over with. But it is a considering factor. If you're taking less than $50, keep in mind, you're gonna be losing $3 towards the app for a fee to get paid out for the job, which I haven't seen on any of the other apps, but again, maybe it's in the fine print, maybe it's not, but it's another considering factor that I feel like doesn't make this app as good as my favorite of all time. It has gotten me the most jobs. It seems to be the least scammy, easiest to use, and that is We Sponsored. And no, it is not sponsored, but I am going to say it is my favorite. Now, I did try out more apps that I'm doing in this video, but they weren't even worth mentioning. And if you have any more you want me to try out, definitely let me know. I can do continuance videos on how these apps do when I try them more, and also trying out different apps to see if they're worth putting in the work. Now, as for We Sponsored, I would say it's definitely worth it. I'm gonna go on the app right now to show you guys what I've done so far. Now, the first thing I was actually sent from We Sponsored were free gifts. So it's not actually UGC work. Like, they let you know up front, it'll be a free item sent to you. You don't have to do content, you don't have to do nothing. It's just to show appreciation. So it's not scammy. You know it's gonna be a free gift. It's not one of those, it was paid, now it's just a free gift, like, you know ahead of time. And what I was first sent was Hunt a Killer. So it's like this board game. It's actually really cool and I've always wanted to do something like this. This was sent to me completely free. I got a prepaid card to buy it. We'll talk about that more, but either way, this was $29.99. I got it for free. The second thing I got sent was a case of these waters from Lemon Perfect, and that was valued at $27 because it was 6 flavors in a 12 pack. And then the next thing I was sent was actually actual UGC work. So it was about vitamins and it was a total of being able to get $75. I just got sent 2 more items recently, which I have to do the content for them, which is a shaver and for a monitoring camera for the home. And both of those are paid jobs. So I believe one of them is gonna be up to $45 and one is up to $70. So those are 2 more jobs that I'm very happy to get. But outside of what I've done so far on the app or currently doing, let's talk about the, rating system we got going. As for signing up, I would give it a complete green. Again, it's like signing up for almost any other app, so it is super easy to do. Now, as for job inventory, I'm sorry, even though it is my favorite app so far, I would say job inventory is a red. There's only a few jobs, and honestly, they don't update it that often. Not that many new things are added. So when you first sign up, it's kind of great because there's like a good amount of items in the list depending on what's active and what's not. I've applied to most of them, so it's kind of like a small list of things I haven't applied to because I just don't want to do them. But either way, overall, it's not that many items. But as for products, I would give it an orange rating. I feel like there's stuff on there that's not that bad, and some of the items are actually higher value items that are higher peg on them too. So I would say it's pretty good, and you don't have to sort through a bunch of crap to get to like one nice item. So maybe it's a good thing there's not as many items on there because there's not as many things you wouldn't want to do. I would say there's more things that most people would be okay with doing content, having their face associated with it, or having, the work to be able to create the content for that company. I would say most items pretty good. I wouldn't give it a green though because they're not all that great, But as for applying for the jobs, I would say it is green as signing up for the app. It is super simple. You literally hit apply and you're done. and that's all you have to do, and it's super easy. And so is a green for doing the jobs. And I have personally done and completed the jobs now, so I can definitely say they're super easy. The app makes it user-friendly, so basically you get a list of required content and optional content. Sometimes optional, sometimes they won't have the optional listed, but as for the required content, it'll tell you even before you get accepted for the job. When you apply for the job, you'll know that that's required, and it'll say like a 5-second TikTok video, a 50 minute, nothing is 50 minutes, a 5-minute video, whatever it is, it'll show you required, and it'll show you what the pay is for it. So once you create the content, you will submit it for approval, and in most cases they'll just approve it, and then you move on to the next piece of content. And at the end, when you decide how much you want to submit, you hit submit, and then you get paid out for the job. But you do get a prepaid card, so it makes it super easy. When you hit accept for the job, you are going to purchase the item with a prepaid card. You don't have to front any of your money, nothing like that. And then once the content arrives to you, you can start to submit the content you want to do. And for almost all of the jobs so far that I've seen, there is an option for additional content for additional pay. So it's like, hey, do you also want to do an Instagram story for $10? Do you also want to do this or that? In most cases, I do it because obviously it's more money, and I'm using the similar content that I would be doing for the required content anyway. But the one thing about this app and a lot of the other UGC apps I've seen so far is it's not purely UGC. It's not just user-generated content for their socials. Most of them are going to want you to post on your social, and so far all the jobs I've seen on We Sponsor require you to post on your socials. So keep that in mind, and especially keep that in mind when you apply for these jobs and decide if you want to do them or not. You're gonna have to put it on your own social media, and some people might not be okay with that. I only take jobs that I would be okay with having my face on and putting on my social media, because I don't know, I'm just one of those people, it's not worth the money to promote things that are kind of like weird, crappy items or stuff I wouldn't use in my own personal life. But as for testing these apps out further and just seeing what they're really about and giving them more of a shot, I definitely will do that. I will definitely do more apps in addition, because I know there's more UGC apps out there that might be potentially worth my time and effort. So I will have follow-up videos, I will do TikToks, I will do shorts on here. I'm trying to attempt to post shorts more so YouTube will like me more. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys will give these apps a shot, and I hope you have a great rest of your morning, evening, night, whatever it is for you. I'll see you Wednesday.